sure about that?
QFusion. Let's get it in.
All right. Welcome back, everybody, to another video with your boy here, QFusion Reacts. I wanted to give you guys another taste of another banger that I have up for you. We have the Andrew Tate and Chian Reynolds date, the longly awaited grilling episode. What I didn't want to do is I didn't want to watch it yet. I wanted to get a fresh reaction because, you know, I like to do my reactions live. So I kind of wanted to watch this alongside you guys and sort of get your feedback. I know this is going to be an interesting ass date, to say the least. If you guys don't know Andrew Tate is taking he's had a presence on YouTube for what seems like for a while now, at least like a year or so now. I was introduced to Andrew Tate by way of watching the Fresh and Fit podcast, where he was, dropping some heavy dimes. And ever since then, I definitely, gravitate to the charisma and sort of the frame, right? This guy is definitely someone, while I don't know what his real life entails, a lot of the things that he does preach are pretty on base, and they definitely have merit to them. So, like, if anybody knows me, I definitely am somebody that likes to not take everybody's word for a grain of salt, but at the same token, I like to do my best to see what works for sort of my life, and I try to implement that when I'm speaking with you guys and giving you guys feedback, or in our other podcasts at Moss Media. Check it out at the main channel on the network, and yeah, so yeah, I definitely wanted to get going. If you guys don't know what the grilling show is, it's sort of a dating show on the Standout TV network, sorry about that, network, where this woman, Chian Reynolds, I will say she's a pretty woman, but she's definitely got some interesting characteristics about her, to say the least. And she goes on a series of dates with gentlemen that potential suitors, and she rates them at the end. All right, so what we're going to see is Andrew Tate take her on, and I mean, as you can see, this video is already at 7.5 million views, so it's definitely made a rounds. I'm sure there's a ton of reactions, but you know what? It hasn't been reacted by me yet, so I wanted to give it a nice fresh one for you guys once more. And all right, without further ado, let's check her out.
If you know what you have, you don't have much. And once you reach a certain level of money, you don't even know what you have. And you certainly don't own what you have. Outside entities, which you may have a stake in, own what you have. People who have a lot of money understand. It's very difficult for me to even say how much money I have, but I can have anything I want, anytime I want.
Okay, so this is where my thing is just like, I think this goes to his thing about if you've heard him have conversations on interviews about not being too forthcoming with sort of what you do or what you make for a living, which again has a lot of merit to it. I think the way he goes about it is a bit extreme, and it definitely lends one to say that he's certainly someone who thinks outside of the box. Okay, so again, let's continue on. I'll try not to stop it too much, y'all, so that way.
Hi, I'm Chian Reynolds, and I'm still on the lookout. I've had some good dates.
I'm liking my views, like, you know what I'm saying? It's all good right now.
Charmer, ain't ya? And I've had some bad dates. How do you think you've done on the date?
I don't really give a shit. I'm not gonna lie, bro.
Where are all the decent men? Not in my
Yeah,
DMs,
easily
that's
one of
for
the
sure.
best ones.
Get me, I feel like I'm rolling with the man then. What's going on? 95s.
It seems like a lot of men don't know how to treat a lady.
I'll just manhandle everything.
You need to start putting a chest and chest in and that, like, jeez.
Will I have better luck this season? What would you do if my ex was after you?
He can have you.
Let's find out. This is grilling.
Growing up, family struggled to make ends meet. But if you worked hard, you could do better than your parents. That's the American dream. Now that dream is out of reach for too many. That's why we're cutting taxes and
Oh,
making New
my
Jersey
God,
more
he
affordable.
does,
Join
huh?
us.
I'm so fat.
Brendan, you're not fat. Sure.
Jeez. Christ.
I'm Andrew Tate the third. I'm here
Andrew
because
Tate the
I was invited. Is that a good answer? Yeah, I was invited. So I thought I'd come along. Why not? There's already love in the universe. I've already found love. I found love with reality, my friend. I'm already in love. I'm in love with waking up every day. You know, there's people who are trying to stop me breathing and they've yet to succeed. I'm already in love. Love, life.
Okay. All right. So we've definitely turned already. This is sort of one of those things where he goes on those existential rants of his. Again, while I'm definitely a fan of Andrew Tate. Again, there are things about him that are just on the bit much side. You know what I mean? So let's continue on.
Life's great. I used to think that it was the man, and I was actually accurate, thinking that it was the man who was selling himself to the woman. But once you reach a certain level of achievement as a man, it's the woman who's trying to sell herself to you. I've handled a bunch of difficult situations in my life. I'm not intimidated. Let's leave it at that. We'll see how it goes. I would say I'm pretty confident, yeah, overall. Yeah, I think confidence is born from adversity, right? Everything that doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Can Chian ask you whatever she likes?
Anything she likes, find the most difficult question on the planet, tell her to throw her question card away, write a new one. I'm ready.
All right. Okay. Let's skip on. I'm not gonna, you know, and then this is the thing, right? So guys, I mean, while this woman is definitely something interesting, you know, I'm never gonna be one of those guys if I see a clearly attractive female, and this is a lesson for you guys, on frame, you know, that it's very uncomfortable for me when I see guys, you know, take such a huge stance at not giving an attractive woman her cute kudos, as to say that you're simping for simply saying a woman is a good looking woman. That doesn't mean that you are head over heels for her. It doesn't mean that you're somebody that finds her to be the goddess queen. Oh my. There's nothing wrong with being honest, and if you see a woman that is attractive, it's okay to say that she's attractive. You know what I mean? You don't have to always be ready to throw out a simp card, just because you don't want to sort of put yourself in a position where you now feel like you're placating to a woman. It's really not that deep, right? So obviously, you can gauge her attractiveness more and more as she talks and says whatever she begins to say. But fellas, just because you give a woman her kudos for being attractive, I mean, hey, like, if you're on a date with a woman, that is the reason why you're there. It's okay to give compliments, right? It's when you start to over obsessively give compliments for women that have no absolute attraction to you whatsoever. That is when you are running into simp territory, right? So I think we need to start differentiating, the difference. We need to start differentiating between, simp behavior and simply just being a good guy. There's nothing wrong with being a good guy. You know what I mean? There's a big difference between being a good guy and being a nice guy, right? Being a solid good guy or a solid guy that has morals and has values, there's nothing wrong with that. It has standards and boundaries. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. It's when you start to, subjugate your boundaries and your standards for someone who has especially no sexual attraction to you, right? So you got to be very careful with that.
Very nice to meet you.
Hello.
Hi.
You look really nice.
Thank you. Let's do two kisses. 1, 2.
Very nice to meet you. What's
Very
your
nice
name?
to meet you. Andrew Tate. What's your name?
Andrew. Nice to meet you. Chian. Or Chian Reynolds, if you're doing this whole thing.
Chian Reynolds. We're gonna do official.
Yeah.
Okay,
Nice to meet you.
Cheers. I think she's an attractive woman. She's good looking. Friendly demeanor. I can tell she thinks she knows things, so I look forward to correcting her. But that's usually how life works.
Finally, see? A man that makes an effort. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Yeah? Okay, where are you from?
I'm American, but I live...
Check out and keep an eye out, right, for the little cues, right? Because if you notice anything with a conversation between a guy who has a particular type of, masculinity or sort of masculine frame, the way that he'll be able to communicate, with women is going to be very, how do I say it? It's going to be, you're going to be very, it's the cues of how that woman's gauging his frame is going to be very telling, right? By the way that she smiles, the way that she, squints her eyes, the way that she, blubs with her hair. She does have longer hair, right? Or just, she'll adorn, right? Or if it's something that's not really, falling within her purview, you'll see those noticeable cues as well. So keep a lookout for that throughout the course of this.
I lived in England for a long time. I lived in a very prestigious part of the UK. I don't know if you've ever heard of Luton.
Very
Prestigious.
Yeah.
Yeah, number one.
Luton. Okay. Wasn't expecting that.
Southern Luton.
I ain't saying she a gold digger, but she ain't messing with no broke ninjas.
Well, now I live in Europe, so I've just come in. Yeah.
Okay, because your accent, it's like really different, isn't it?
It's pretty mixed up. I'm like a street dog, my dear. I've been here, I've been there. Half American, half English, half Luton, half everything else.
A bit of a mix.
Bit of a mix.
That's cool. So how did you get here today?
This ninja be trying way too hard to be mysterious, bro. It ain't that serious. She's already giving you the kudos, man. Sorry, guys. Give me a second. Let me make sure I have this. I don't like the way the camera was looking. Let's try it like that. Let's try it like that. Okay. All right. Let's try that.
I flew in this morning.
Flew in. It's different. Something different.
Yeah. Jump on the jet.
You flew in on a jet. Who is this guy?
What about you? You have a mix, no?
Yeah. Family, we're Caribbean.
Interest has been
Caribbean
piqued.
side's the crazy side, or the English side's the crazy side.
I'd say the Caribbean's the fun side.
Fun
a bit
side?
of spice.
So you're fun and crazy.
Not crazy.
I mean, it's the beginning of the day. You can't lie.
Do I look like I'd lie to you?
Yes.
I'm not a liar, actually.
You're not a liar. Everything you tell me for the rest of this episode is going to be a complete truth.
Yeah.
Promise me. Yeah. Say I promise.
I promise. No, I really promise.
We'll see.
All honest thoughts.
So you see what he did there, right? That is another way that a guy, again, will be able to sort of establish frame, right? So he did the, and I do this sometimes playfully, you know what I mean, with a woman. I'm not going to say put her in a position where she has to, if I ask her something very direct, like for instance, promise me, you know what I mean, like promise me this will happen, right? And then you make them repeat that, right? It's sort of a way of asserting your dominance in the conversation, right? And it's obviously you do it in a playful manner. You're not doing it in a fucking promise me, bitch. Saying no, you don't talk like that, because what that does show is that you're overtly emotional, and that does not have the qualms of somebody who is I would, for lack of a better term, a stable and stoic male, right, or man. So so you can see here he's absolutely trying to assert his frame, from the onset. Look at the way he sits, more so not hunched over to the extent where it's overbearing and shows poor posture, but he actually, he got these very engaged and has, he has an open sense for communication. If you know anything about body language, as far as in the course of interviews, things like that, what you'll notice is that when you have more of an open stance, it shows that you're open to receiving, the energy of conversation, right? When you fold your arms, right? They teach you this when you're doing interview, going over interview dynamics, never cross your arms, never, slouch, these are things that showcase, your interest level in the conversation, right? Let's continue.
Opinions.
We'll see. All right, we'll see.
Yeah. So what do you do?
Let me think of a lie. Give me a second.
Oh.
No, you can't lie.
You have to tell the truth. I don't have to tell the truth.
Why?
We already agreed. You're telling the truth. There's only one of us can tell the truth. One of us can lie.
That's not good stuff.
I'm a shoe salesman. I sell shoes, socks, shoe accessories, polish, etc., etc.
Yeah.
I sell shoes. Yeah.
You good at it?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
Surviving. Sold 2 pairs of
this
shoes
guy's
yesterday.
crazy.
Life's good.
Okay, that's good. He's a liar. He's So tell me a bit about you, Andrew.
I'm not
Oh,
comfortable
shit.
opening up too much.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you know you might work for John Law and the government.
No.
I have to be careful what I say.
Oh, so it's not commitment issues.
It's not commitment issues. It's more just like legality.
I swear there's something about this female. I mean, this is maybe why she's perpetually single, or I guess being single just works for her MO, and for her to be able to do this show. But she has this like incessant need to be, to ask. Oh, so no commitment issues in there, huh? Like just ask these leading questions that, tries to put her suitor in a very like uncomfortable position where from a very beginning, like, what I mean? I get it that it's called grilling, but like, you do, if you are really here genuinely to find a guy, that's what you're saying, and not just for show, I think it would behoove you to sit back a little bit, my dear.
Issues.
Oh, okay.
I like to go to church. I'm a man of God. Play Scrabble.
Do you have faith?
Okay, this is good. This is an interesting conversation that we can have on camera, which is.
I'd say my personal journey with God is between me and God. So I'm not one of those people that is like, yes, I go to church, or yes, I do this.
Don't you think that's a bit like lazy Christianity?
AKA.
Stop the cap.
Come on now. So if you follow anybody that is in this space, right, where they or speaks on certain things about male and female dynamics, they speak about this one particular type of phenomena. I think Rollo Tomasi talks on it with regards to this newfound sense of. I mean, obviously, we always heard about like she's been saved. You know what I'm saying? Newfound, born again virgin. That sort of dynamic. But he dives in, and I definitely implore you to watch Rollo Tomasi, because he dives in a little bit further on this phenomena as far as when women hit a certain age, and I think Chian is above 30, just a little bit in her early 30s. They have this phenomena where they all of a sudden become a lot more closer to God, right? So everything they do, from the way that they dress, from the way that they then talk, they went through 15, 20 years of being, Jezebel-like. And now all of a sudden, the guys that they want to deal with, are now need to be subject to their newfound glory. So, for all intents and purposes, it's definitely an interesting ploy. And you could definitely sniff it out. It's all over dating apps. I mean, girls nowadays, if I see a girl that's like 35 plus with, the first thing she says is like, number one is God, my faith. I'm just like, okay, was that really that high on your priority list, 5-10 years ago? And obviously, yes, people are subject to change, but my issue is when it is not due to, it's when you sort of, you have this round robin way of the way you dealt with men of, that you had genuine desire for. And then now you sort of put men that come into your life subsequently, you put them in a very, precarious position just because you want to play to religion, right? Or play to a faith, and that shit is nothing to joke with. So, it's very commendable. And by all accounts, there are women that do fall into that, into that limelight where they begin to, have that newfound glory. But the problem is, how much of, it's gauging the genuine from the bullshit. Let's continue.
No, not really, because for me, I believe in love and I believe in faith, and I don't think it's just one religion that you need to follow. I've got friends that are Muslim.
I agree.
I've got friends that are Christian. I've got friends that are spiritual, so I don't put myself in one category.
I understand and I respect that.
I really like her outfit.
Don't you think out of respect for God himself, whether you're in Dubai and you go to the mosque, or you're in England, you go to the church, you should get up
That's
early
what she
on a
could stand
Sunday,
up.
despite all the booze, and get up and take an hour out of your life and just show some respect? Don't you agree?
Because everyone's journey with God is personal.
You can be a lazy spiritualist, a lazy Christian, you can be a lazy kickboxer, right? I'm a kickboxer, but I don't train.
When I was a student, I'd write long essays that
Oh, shit. That's an interesting notion.
I'd work on for
These fucking
days,
commercials,
but
man.
now
Holy
I'm writing
fuck.
short emails
Sorry,
and
I'm just waiting for
messages.
it to like use it.
You're lazy, it's okay.
I'm not lazy. I've God.
Absolutely.
That's good. Do you get up early on a Sunday?
Completely.
That's good.
Every single Sunday. Okay.
Yo, in her head, she's just like,
How dare you?
Like, Ninja, are you kidding me? Yo, you call me lazy?
Of course.
Spend 6 minutes.
Amazing.
And I think that being religious is a beautiful thing, and I think that a lot of people try and say they're spiritual or they're religious in a way, copping out on the 1 hour a week. It just feels a bit lazy to me. I think you can always find an hour a week.
Yeah, no, you definitely could.
So maybe God sent me here to make you go to church.
Maybe you're here to enlighten me.
Maybe that's why.
Yeah. What kind of man are you?
He's gonna enlighten you, all right? Yes. The enlightenment is gonna be plenty. Yes. And if he doesn't want to enlighten you, I shall be the next suitor to fulfill your enlightenment. Let's carry on.
What's the spectrum? I need you to quantify it for me. Who's at the bottom, who's at the top?
For me, I just say top like a high value.
What would you say constitutes a high value?
There we go.
A high value man is someone that is successful financially.
Okay.
I'd say it's someone that's got a lot of integrity and good morals, that is very well respected, is very sure of himself, but also is a very family orientated man. That's for me, a high value man.
Okay, it's fine. I'm a high value baby.
He's very sure of himself. Yeah.
What the fuck do you want him to do? What do you want him to say? Like, no, I'm not a high value man. Like, well, what the fuck? What was she expecting him to say? I don't know any man that hasn't done the work is not going to sit there and go, yeah, no, those sound like me. Just like I'm pretty sure that if he sounded off a whole bunch of things that would constitute as a solid female or a solid woman, she would absolutely sit there and go, yeah, no, that's definitely me. Like, I don't think she would have any hesitation in that. But it's not okay for him to be sure of himself, even though that is one of the predominant traits that you mentioned as far as for being a high value man. It's the lack of consistency for me.
A high value for you.
Pretty much basically what you said. I think a high value man is a capable man. I think capability can be judged in many different ways, and capability is something which varies depending on the situation. You need a man who is capable of doing lots of different things that he doesn't do very often. You need a man who's capable of being violent when the time appears. Of course, you need a man who's capable of making money. You need a man who can kill somebody and hold a baby in the same day. You need a man with a very broad spectrum of qualities and assets.
See, this is where I start to lose Andrew. You know what I mean? Like, yes, I mean, and I'm guessing in this spiel that he's about to go on, he's going to make we're not going to venture too far off. I think that when he starts, the kill and hold a baby in the same breath, you know what I mean? It's like saying things like that while, sure, they may have some merit. It's like, it's so on the nose. It's just like, when you're doing it, it does not, for me, it doesn't come across as genuine. You know what I mean? It doesn't come across as somebody who is operating in a sense of like, okay, he says like this all the time, I'm the top G or this and that. I think if, like he says, like a woman should be able to get that sense that you're a dangerous man, who is able to hold it back, because of the fact that you do hold such a strong frame. So, but saying such things as that, it's just, I don't know. I get it. Maybe it's for him holding on to, his appeal and him being, Cobra Tate and all that. But I don't know. It's just, I don't know.
Sets and capabilities. And this is actually what most
do you guys know what I'm saying? Because it's to me, it's like, come on, bro. Like if you're that dude, like there's certain things you don't need to say in order to, and further placate that you're that guy. You know what I mean? That it just should be something that oozes out of your being just by the way that you hold and carry yourself.
Difficult thing about
but I guess for the sake of it being a date, you have to.
When I say most people, let me change that. Most females don't respect how difficult it is to become a high value man. Because to become a high value man, you need to have so many different qualities and so many different capabilities. It's a very difficult thing to do. You need to be funny and smart and charismatic and interesting with stories and strong and rich with a nice car and a nice apartment. Whereas to be a high value female, you need to be hot. If you're nice, it's a bonus, but it's not even that necessary.
That's it.
If you're a pretty female, even if you're a piece of shit person, you're going to get messages on Instagram.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're a good-looking man who lives with his mother, you ain't getting any messages.
Not really.
I think so. I think that if you're a good-looking man, that's all you have going for you, I don't think you're going to succeed very well in life. Yeah. I know there's very, very pretty girls who have nothing else going for them that manage to do very, very well. Yeah. Do you play chess?
I'm okay at it.
But if you look at the chessboard, right, the queen gets to jump all over the board, and the king has to move one square at a time, and I think that's done very purposefully. If you go to Monaco and you see a yacht and you see a man on that yacht, he had to work.
Oh shit! This ninja about to start spit. I like when he breaks down the male and female dynamics by way of utilizing the game of chess. This is something I've heard him talk about on interviews, and I think it's definitely a very telling analogy or a sort of perspective that that's being introduced as far as how male and female dynamics sort of play out on the world sphere or the world stage, right? So let's carry on.
Work his entire life and network his entire life and get up early and deal with stress, tax problems and police problems and work his ass off to buy that boat. What did the girl have to do? The girl who's on that boat, the 19-year-old Ukrainian. She had to get a message on Instagram. Boom. So the man moves one square at a time and the queen just jumps on board. This is the point. Female beauty is extremely valuable.
The thing is, there's a difference between a high-value man and a high-value woman. For me, a high-value woman is what kind of mother is she? What kind of compassion has she got? Has she got integrity? Has she got morals? Is she loyal? All these other qualities.
How could she? So that? But that's the thing, right? Like in your description for a high value man, you didn't say anything about being, is he a great father? Is he it's all about qualities, right? So it's when they start to dive down this rabbit hole of qualifiers where it's like, okay, yeah, we get it. Like, you know what I mean? This is something, and then this goes back into, what a lot of people mention, about the dichotomy of a high value female, you know what I mean? But I think what Andrew's sort of getting at is what he's saying for the most part is, look, like if you're a woman, especially a pretty woman, right? In today's day and age, it's really, the options are endless, right? Like there are women that literally bring nothing to society that are hanging around, multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar individuals, right? Just because they simply exist. And while this isn't something that, as men that we complain about, it's just simply a fact of the matter, right? So for the chess analogy, you're able to, skip a lot of the steps, right? You're able to skip a lot of the areas of the board just simply because of the fact that you do have a privilege, which is what we call pretty privilege, right? So just when you already tell that somebody like herself who's probably been throughout the course of her life been given the moniker of, oh, she's just a pretty female and she doesn't offer much, she's probably a bimbo and all this other stuff just because she's pretty, they take the shit and they take it to the umpteenth degree, and they instead of just embracing the fact that this is essentially what men are looking for in the onset, and just establishing that is the hiring measure, for you to get entry into the interview. It's not to say that is all that men are looking for. And I think they take it so personally that it almost to a point becomes very telling, and it's very, destructive to have any conversation going forward, because they're coming from a place of disingenuity. Because they know if they were ugly, the options would be significantly diminished. She would not have a show where men are literally coming up and suiting for her. Like, so to act as though that is not occurring because of what? Because of your incessant need to seem like you're bigger than your beauty. Let's carry on.
Men base it on just an aesthetic level.
I agree with you. If I meet a female, I would like her to be all those things, especially loyal. It's the most important thing for a female to be.
Are you loyal?
Mr. Loyal, man of God, we already talked about church. But the point is that to initially attract a mate.
Here it goes.
How dare you?
Females, the most important thing for them is their looks, whereas a man, I think, is his status, and status is a far more varied spectrum than looks alone. Being good looking alone does not make you a high status male. To be a high status male, you need to have a bunch of things. Initially, if you're just pretty, you're going to get attention. Whereas a man, you need to have a bunch of things to just get attention. Do you understand? Do you agree with my point?
Not always. Listen, there's men that are funny, that aren't that attractive, that can get attention. It's like an energy thing.
I disagree.
You disagree?
I disagree. I know what you're saying. They can get attention, but I don't think anyone will look at a funny guy who lives with his mom and call him a high-value male. Whereas if you get a really, really beautiful girl, even if she has nothing else going for her, she'd be considered high value.
I wouldn't say high.
Okay. I wasn't sure where he was going with that for a second, because I do think that I think it's the redeeming thing about it's again the double standards that exist between men and female. I think if you're a guy and you have a number of other redeeming qualities for yourself, you can bear entry into finding a certain type of woman that you want, you know, barring that you hit a number of those different metrics that they have for men, right? As opposed to with a female, you know, it's very tough. Like if you don't meet that bar of attraction for the most part, unless a man is not able to procure options on the marketplace, you know, it's very difficult for you to sort of to create more redeeming qualities for yourself, right? Because men are very simple, right? We have very basic needs.
High value, no.
Yeah, we can disagree. That's fine.
Are you a good partner?
The best, of course.
The best. What makes you the best?
Besides you and the police, I don't often answer questions.
Okay. He's definitely had a...
What? That's the shit I'm talking about, man.
Police interview in the past.
I don't like to answer open-ended questions because I feel like they're a trap.
Why?
Because when you speak a lot, it's how you end up getting trapped, right? It doesn't matter if it's a police interview or anything else. The more you talk...
So guys, yeah, I'm not going to go through the whole episode, you know what I mean? But what I will do is go through a good portion of it and then obviously leave the link to the rest of it so you guys can check it out. Just because at some point, obviously, it's going to be diminishing returns. But I think so far, as you can see, you know, Andrew Tate has definitely piqued her interest, to say the least. And I think he's starting to maneuver into figuring out what her mindset is. And I think he's starting to get an idea as to, what kind of woman am I dealing here with? Again, I don't know if this shit is for real. I don't know if these people actually go out on second dates, if they makes to a second date. You know what I mean? And I think actually would give the show a lot more credibility. But I mean, that's a lot of dudes. I mean, this is season 2, episode 7. So I mean, it'd be kind of interesting, you know, to see if, you know, a high value woman such as this, you know, is putting herself in the fire with so many dudes. Yeah, that's going to be quite dangerous.
The worse. So I want you to be very, very specific with your parameters within the questioning, because that allows me to answer them in a way which makes me look the best.
I don't know, I feel like a very confident man that was very sure of himself would just... Just answer.
Do you think so?
Mm-hmm.
Because
I feel like it's just being calculated.
Okay, a very innocent, would he just answer the police?
Yeah.
She takes a picture, and in that picture, CT.
Give me a second now. Goddamn.
If
I have to get that YouTube red shit.
But you've never dealt with deer. That's not how it works.
No?
No, of course not.
But he's innocent.
It doesn't mean anything. Innocent and guilty in and of itself is a false paradigm. You have to understand that the world we live in, there's no black and white. There's no such thing. It's all a sliding scale. If they want to find you guilty, they'll find you guilty. I guarantee you sold something to a mate on eBay 7 years ago, didn't pay tax, boom, you're going to jail. I'm enjoying this conversation, and I understand every point she's making, and I'm being deliberately abrasive.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. Now that he says that, okay. I mean, because again, he's known to be that, you know, that guy in those conversations where, you know, it just seems to get to a point where it's like, all right, okay. But I think for the sake of this, I think I definitely see what he's trying to do now.
However, the truth is about the masculine feminine dynamic is that females like men who are completely in charge and run their life exactly how they want, and they comply and bend to the man's wills and lifestyle. To come along to a woman and say, how do you want me to be so that you like me is a death sentence for the relationship. So
yeah,
that's how it works.
What kind of man do you want to be?
I want to be a man who lives true to himself, and a man who goes to sleep easy at night, and a man who knows that he's living true to his biological necessities and instincts, and tries his best not to hurt anybody, and leaves a positive impact on the world.
Are your actions congruent with your words? Yeah.
What else would they be?
I don't know. I don't know you, so that's why I'm
don't
trying
know?
to get to know you.
Yeah, we're here to know each other. Of course they are. Yeah, I'm a positive man. I'm a positively inspirational and motivating person.
Okay. What do you do that's motivating?
I inspire people to tell the truth, I think.
Okay.
And I think a lot of men live in a world now today where they have to lie.
Do you think?
In fact, I would basically guarantee that
Come on, man. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Like, and it's no fault of our own, because I think a lot of times when we have these conversations, you know, and it's not to sort of cast any aspersions on the female race. The female, I guess, you know, all females as a whole, you know, because it's just a sense of like, if it doesn't benefit you, or if it does not sort of behoove you, why should you know or even care? Right. Or, you know what I mean? Like it shouldn't, there's no reason why, like, for instance, if there's I'm not saying this to be rude or mean, like, but if there's a small time fire in Britain and it comes up on CNN's news, am I going to be paying attention to it with the level of, the level of discernment as if it was something that was right down the street for me? No, like, it's not to say that I don't care about those people or if I want them to get hurt. It's just a sense of like, no, I just don't, it's not like, I'm not thinking about what's going on in Britain. Like that's just a whole, it's a whole experience, different experience that they're having, right? There's going to be similar tropes that happen throughout the course of each day, right? It's just a matter of a different culture or a different stance. But for the most part, it's a different experience over there, right? So that it's the same thing that goes with men and women. You know what I mean? There's just, we live on two different planes, right? We live in two different worlds, right? And because of that, there are two different standards, and we see them play out in every day, right? So that's why when people who are in the space of that manosphere space, they speak on, this is why, the world is sexist innately, this is what we're talking about, right? Because what's the saying that they use? Privilege is invisible to those that have it, right? So, this is just a woman that you're going to see. I see from the sense of how she says, really, I believe full-heartedly she genuinely thinks that men are just, men are able to just speak their own minds and speak their truth and all that, and without consequence whatsoever.
99% of men are lying at least 80% of the time.
Really? That's a bit bold.
I think it's true, because I think that...
So men are liars?
Men are liars. Women are correct. Men are liars. Women wear makeup because men fall in love with what they see. And men lie because women fall in love with what they hear. Men are liars because men are in constant competition.
All right, that's enough. So, I mean, he's not saying anything here that's like profound to the degree of like, oh my God, he just made this up. Like this is shit that's been in play for hundreds of years, right? I think the thing that gets me, intrigued by these types of conversations, it's like, it's sort of when you see two ideologies sort of just come, full steam ahead, and when you see someone who literally lives in the dark, like to the point of like utter repulsion to anything that's foreign to her sense of how the world really works, it's just amazing to see like the reaction, right? And I think that's something that really attracts me to these conversations, right? It's not because these guys are saying anything that's new. A lot of these guys in the manosphere are saying things that have been said by William Shakespeare and poetry and by way of the plays that they have. It's been said by, by Aristotle. It's been utilized in folklore from olden times, right? Like these concepts are not new, right? But I think it's very interesting to see how they play out. Now we have the internet, and we have social media and all these different platforms where you can actually have these tough conversations with people, face to face. And now, when it's, as opposed to when I go out a date, I'm not filming my dates, right? And even if this isn't real, they both have stances that they adhere to, right? So now you get to see how these conversations play out real time. And I think for me, that is the more intriguing aspect of, this type of content, right?
Competition with other men, and they have to find a way to be competitive, and the easiest way to be competitive is to lie. If you can sit there and convince a woman that you're rich because you bought her $100 or £100 meal, that's what you're going to do. It's a lot easier than becoming rich. And women believe it. And as long as women are stupid enough to believe it, men are dishonest enough to lie.
For me personally.
How dare you?
Sheesh.
I'm the type of woman that it's actions rather than words. I don't get like phased by...
Actions can be a lie. You think flowers can't be a lie? You think flowers, 25 pounds on a phone call to some dickhead delivery dude can't be a lie?
No, but there's some like good men that wouldn't even enter the head that that's a lie. So I feel like everything you're doing is just very calculated.
Life is calculated. All
It's
men
not.
lie.
It's really not.
Men lie
Like, it's
because,
actually
yeah.
Oh my God. This is I guess this is the point where it starts to go off the rails. And damn, we're only 14 minutes in. I haven't even scratched the surface of this conversation. But like, Lord, like, it's very clear, who lives in the real world and who lives in sort of this like encased fantasy land that men have created for this woman, right? By way of their adorning and their the way that they, throw themselves at her, you know what I mean? Men that she could care less about, right? It's this fantasy world that a lot of, modern women today, they sort of just they can't help but surround themselves with, right? And it's to the point where it's very, again, it creates very disingenuous conversation, right? How can you really talk to somebody about these things if one person's got 2 feet in the way the world really works and the other person's kind of just like dilly-dallying, tipping a toe in when they feel like it, you know what I mean, when they want to talk about real shit, and then jumping full back into fantasy land about all the 100,000 imps that run through her inbox every day and show her a world of endless possibilities, right? It's exhausting.
Life at the upper echelons, at the highest echelons of life, is absolutely and utterly calculated. Every single man at the top echelon of life is a calculated man. You don't get there by accident.
So do you want to get to the top?
I'm already at the top echelon of man. And
You already told you he was a high value man. This is how I know this heathen is not. Listen, she's getting enamored by his fucking personality. Now she's just out here just saying shit.
when you're at the top echelon of man, it's a very, very calculated process. You don't get there by accident. Nothing good in life happens on accident. When you say men don't lie because you believe in actions, I'm saying a lot of actions are lies.
Am I high value women in your eyes?
You're very good looking. So I would say, yeah, absolutely. You're beautiful. You seem like you're a good person. You seem intelligent. You're not stupid. So I'd say you're a high value woman, but your actions dictate that, right? The most important actions a woman can undertake is loyalty. Every man out here knows that disloyalty is the most disgusting thing a female could ever do to her man.
But are you loyal?
Oh boy.
Let's not pretend that male loyalty and female loyalty are the same.
Hey.
But loyalty is loyalty.
Here we go. All right. Thank you. I was waiting for this. Okay. All right. Oh shit. Yeah, because he introduced this topic. I mean, him and if you watch Fresh and Fit, him and Myron, they have a very similar I guess outlook on on male and female loyalty and how these two differ. And so I am very curious to see how she's going to react to his breakdown on the difference of male and female loyalty. All right, this is going to be fun. Let me see if I can put some more light in this bitch. Yeah, a little darkness. Darkness is upon us. All right, cool. Let's carry on.
No, but they're not the same thing, are they?
Why is it not?
Because men and women are not the same.
We are not the same. You are correct there.
Okay, so we agree.
No, but I'm not agreeing to people being dishonest, cheaters, liars. He's deluded.
Why do you think men
No,
and women
see, this is what I'm talking about. Like, come on, man. Come off it. Is that what you guys say? Come off it. Like, you literally just agreed that men and women aren't the same. You have to. I'm gonna save my spiel. I'm gonna let Andrew here.
We carry children.
Correct.
We nurture. We're compassionate, emotional beings.
Yep.
Men are very different.
Yes,
I agree.
However, I don't think it's very fair for men to sit with the opinion that it's acceptable.
The only thing fairs makes sense as is the only thing that gets what's the saying? The only thing fair is a place where is only a place where pigs get, right? Like it's if you want fair, go to a county fair, go to your state fair, your local state fair. You know what I mean? Like if that's really what's important to you, go there to get your sense of fair. But if you're looking for fair in life, you're going to find that it is unbelievably impossible to find. Like there's no such thing as fair, right? It's not fair that we can sit in a land where people are literally doing hot dog eating contests, right, and stuffing their mouths. I think I was just talking about this with some people like the other day. Like we were literally watching for like a couple of seconds before we all got grossed out, right? But there's a reason why we could sit in a country where people are literally stuffing their face, with fucking glizzies, right? 70, 80, some of them. Joey Chestnut, you know what I mean? I remember him because I'll never forget the time I actually watched one full throughout. But like, there's a big difference between those guys and then, the people in Africa and all these other third world nations who can't even find a grain of rice or don't even know when the next time they're going to have a meal, right? Is that fair? No, but that is the world that we exist in, right? So to continually, bring up, and she looks like and is the type, and I think she's used that before, where it's like, oh, it's not fair. It's not fair that men get to do that, and but women have to. It's not fair that when you go to a club, you don't even have to. All you have to do is show up in a nice nice tight dress. You know what I mean, with your best Sunday, outlook on, and you're going to get into a club for free. While even if I was to build myself up, which would take an immense amount of work, right? It just would take an hour at the gym, maybe 2 or 3 times a day. 2 to 3 times a week, and you're going to be able to get into the club for free, right? It's just because you're a woman. Like there are just certain privileges that come for men and certain that come for women. But women always complain about the ones, right, that don't benefit them. And that is so disingenuous to me, because it's if that's the case, then go get upset. Then how about this? If you really think that double standards should not exist, when you get to the club and that guy says, all right, you can come in, but your big girlfriend has to stay outside the club, or you see that big girl that has to pay, right? How about you go ahead and tell him, you know what? I'm not getting in this club until she gets to come in this club for free, just like me. If nobody's getting in this club for free, if it's not just me, like, take that stance. But I guarantee you won't, right? Because you really don't give a fuck about those outside of yourself.
For men to cheat.
I didn't even say that, but I think if we, as intelligent, logical beings, as you are and as I am, if we agree that men and women are not the same, then our paradigms on how we enact in certain regards cannot be seen as the same.
So, if I'm with you,
correct,
the fuck,
and I then cheat,
that's disgusting. I can't believe you even said that on YouTube. You see, you just said that on YouTube. I'm sorry to the world. Please don't listen to this.
No, but it happens.
No, it doesn't happen. No. Please don't say this on YouTube. You're going to corrupt the youth. I'm sorry for her. I'll pray for her. These things can't be said. Women can't do that. It's disgusting.
Women can't do that, so it's a double standard.
It's a double standard. But life is full of double standards.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean listen, regardless with your philosophies and everything that you keep.
It's not my philosophy.
No, but I'm saying, okay, life is full of double standards.
Correct.
I understand that. But in a relationship,
correct,
it's a partnership.
Yes.
Right. You and me, we're together.
Since when?
You know what I'm saying. When you're trying to build a partnership and a life with someone, the end goal is you two together.
Agreed.
So why cheat?
I know. I understand where you're coming from. My point is that relationships and life is full of double standards as a whole. A man's going to pay for everything everywhere you go, right? This is his duty as a man. Do you agree?
No, I do like traditional.
Okay, so you agree. So you're traditional, right? So if you want to talk about traditional, let's talk about tradition. Every single man since the dawn of human time had more than one woman. Every single king, every single emperor, every single sultan, every single conqueror since the dawn of human time had more than one woman. All of them. Every single one. Read a history book. Read the Bible. It's all in there. The Quran, all of it. You want to talk about tradition, it's all there. The only reason your mind is different, the only reason you believe differently is because of society. Society's come along and told you something.
Yeah, but society, we can change. Like, the world evolves, things change.
The world evolves, yeah, that's right. Now men cut their dicks off and their chicks. You believe in this shit? You got the vaccine? You believe in any of this crap? It's all a lie.
I feel like life's about choices.
Life is about choices, correct. My point is this.
Shit, that just got real, Lord. Oh my God. My goodness. Please say how you really feel. Holy shit, Andrew. Oh, fuck.
If I had a woman, I would decide not to cheat because I decide. However, I would not see my infidelity as nearly anywhere near even 1% as disgusting as female infidelity, because female infidelity involves emotion. You will not sleep with a man you don't like. I can sleep with a woman I don't like. It's a completely different thing. I can be head over heels in love with a woman, ready to die for her, ready to take a bullet for her, protect her, give her all the money in the world, make sure she has a beautiful family, a nice big house, all of it. And I'll still f that bitch. Watch me. A woman won't do that. So don't lie to me and pretend. No, you won't. Any woman who will sit here and say, I can f dudes and not care about them is fundamentally broken. Her soul is broken.
Okay, well, she's broken then, but she's still doing it.
Well, if she's broken, she ain't anywhere near me. I don't want no broken bitch near me.
I'm definitely sure women would cheat on you.
You think so? Well, those are the kind of women I will not associate with. Females shouldn't even want to cheat.
Like, what is she arguing for? Like, I don't understand. Like, this is just so perplexing to me. Like, it's like you argue for the debauchery. You know what I mean? From that side, I mean, he gives you what reality is, right? No matter how, if you like it or not, if you don't want to accept it, fine. But you know, you understand it exists. But your first inclination, knowing full well that you're probably, hopefully, not one of those women, is that you want to say, oh, well, fine, they're broken, so, but they're gonna do it anyway. isn't that just go alongside with your whole argument about, oh, is it okay? Is that fair? Or is that like, if like semantics only work in your favor when somebody else is providing arguing points? Like this makes no sense. But I mean, again, I'll keep my, you know what?
How dare you?
You know what I mean? I'm before I say something crazy down here.
Women can't cheat.
It's supposed to be
no way to ensure paternity.
It's supposed to be a fun channel, y'all. It's supposed to be, you know what I mean? I like, this is not supposed to be too serious like the main channel. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, when I see an interesting video, I have to speak on it, right? This is just craziness.
Of a female's cheating. Modern science in and of itself, just because you can now find out who the dad is, doesn't undo 5,000 years of human evolution in which a female had to be loyal to one man, so we knew exactly who the father was.
Boom.
If a man has multiple partners, you know who the mother is, you know who the father is. If a woman has multiple partners, nobody knows who the dad is, nobody wants to look after the kid, and a woman with a child without a father or without a man around in the ancient world was toast.
He talks a lot.
It talks a lot of nothing.
You've been living at the Sunset Tower for over a year.
High value woman and all
them
this other stuff,
$600,000.
You were
in
full agreement. But now that he gives you something that he provides a sense of reality that you don't agree with, right, or that you don't want to accept. Oh, now he's just talking a bunch of nothing. Yeah, this is why this woman will be single for a long time, right? I wouldn't be surprised if she doesn't end up finding some dude by the age of 40. It's probably gonna be some older, wealthier dude who is like, wow, you know what, you age relatively well for your age, and I already have kids, so it doesn't really matter to me if I want kids. I mean, I'm not really pressed for kids. That's the kind of dude that she's gonna end up with, because this type of shit, you're too old to be sitting there and like not even having some sense of base. Like, and this isn't the first time.
Who cheats on me, and I would never
But
ever.
you can't.
Yes, I can.
Yes,
I can. Yes, I
can.
can.
No, you can't.
Of course I can.
No, you can't. Like, because the thing is with like, this is just an assumption. I'm assuming.
See, this is the problem. Why are you telling? Like, yes, he can. Just like you're within your realm to be able to tell a man, you know, that he's not befitting of you, right? Because of the fact that he doesn't meet a certain metric or a certain he doesn't knock off a couple notches on your list of things that you need in a potential suitor. Men have the same capability. We have the same right. Like, I don't understand why, just because it doesn't fit within your little bubble of political correctness, he's not able to be on it. And this is why men lie. This is why men are liars. This conversation right here is a perfect indicator as to why men do not tell the truth about their feelings or what they're thinking to women. This is why we can only speak in echo chambers with other men, because again, you guys just don't care. Like, you called everything he said. Well, yes, he has said a lot of, out there things, but for the most part, he's said things that are pretty on the nose and have been relatively universally known for the last millennia, if not more. So to say that he's just saying a whole bunch of nothingness, it just kind of shows where your state of delusion is at, my dear.
You have a nice
This
life.
Is not wrong.
No,
it's
but I'm
wrong.
saying you have a nice life, you live a good lifestyle. Women would
I need
just
the
see you
haram
as
button.
unity.
If I was a dumbass, yeah, correct.
Yeah, but this one said, but your attitude is what keeps a woman also. Like, do you think a high value woman is going to sit there and tolerate a man condescending and talking to her and being like, we're different and we're this, we're that, because we're not? A woman that knows her worth is not going to tolerate that.
Absolutely, she will, because he's not being condescending. He's just, it's like, this is the and I know I keep stopping y'all, but it's like, I guess we're getting the meat of this conversation in the beginning, but it's just funny to me. What the girl say? Just, it's just crazy to me, right? If I was to say, and I love this saying, if I was to say that the sky, the sky is fucking blue as opposed to the sky is blue, or that, this is, E minus fucking, if I was to say E equals MC fucking squared, right? It does not change the fact that E equals MC squared, right? But because I say E equals MC fucking square, as opposed to E equals MC square, it's all of a sudden now condescending. If I'm trying to give you a lesson, listen to E equals MC fucking square, because that is the truth. There is no shaking it. It's been approved. It has been signed off on by numerous amount. Like, it is a truth that is undeniable in the realm of humanity. So because of that, because of the fact that you are not going to be able to provide me any other evidence that shows not, if I give it to you any way that I choose and see fit, you just take it. Just take it. Just take it. But to sit there and discredit someone when they provide you something that's not undeniable, and just because you're not mature enough to be able to have the conversation, again, this is the disingenuous nature of having conversations with women who sit in delusion and fantasy lands all day. Like, it's very tough. Like, and the fact that he's even having this conversation with her, I mean, hey, I know probably what he's looking to get out of it, but I mean, damn, man. 50 more minutes of this.
As professionals, we discussed the infidelity of females. And I said that female infidelity is more disgusting than male infidelity. And I think that the world agrees with me. History agrees with me. The Bible agrees with me. The Quran agrees with me. Every single book you can read from history says that females who are promiscuous should either be stoned to death or at least cast out from society. Female promiscuity is a brand new concept. This is brand new amongst society. The idea that women can sleep with a bunch of dudes and it doesn't matter is a brand new idea. 30, 40 years old, maybe. Even today, nobody respects it, deep down. When a girl shoots a girl she doesn't like, you know the first thing she does? She says she's a... You know why? Because they know female promiscuity is disgusting, it's revolting. So the whole idea of a female wanting to sleep with more than one man at a time is haram. And they know it inside of their souls, inside of their hearts.
I don't think so.
Yes, they do, as does a man. No. Whereas a man, if he sleeps with a bunch of chicks, doesn't matter, who cares?
So would you be with me if I'd slept with over 50 men?
Jeez. Yeah, this girl loves fucking... Oh my god. Yeah, she just wants to be single. Because honestly, that number is probably close to that. Like, she probably just wants to be single. Because, like, she asked this question, and I've seen a number of these dates. You know, she asked that question a lot. Like, oh, well, if I slept with over 100 men, like, what would you... Like, girl, what? Why are you even trying to bring that picture to life? And because it's... But again, this is the queen of disingenuity. Well, she's one of the queens of disingenuity. Fuck, I'm gonna have to look that up. That might not be a word.
I'm about you women, right?
I mean,
Oh my God!
you ain't anymore if you got them type of numbers.
You said it yourself.
How can you be high value if 50 men have slept with you?
What if I've just been single for a long time?
Unacceptable.
Why is it unacceptable?
A body count is probably the #1 most easiest way to judge the value of a female. I actually think that No. I'm going to say this. I think 99% of the world's problems.
Oh, shit. Oh, he's gearing up. Yo, he's gearing up. Where's the button?
How dare you?
Yo, damn. Oh, my God. Did I like this video? Oh, I'm a snake. I'm a piece of shit.
And no one's going to understand this, but if you can extrapolate, if you can listen to this statement and extrapolate it out towards society at large, I think 99% of the world's problems would be solved if females walked through life with their body count on their forehead. Because it would prevent all of the disintegration of morals. It would prevent so many things about the world.
But you know what? There's like
and women would be like, to be with me as a man, I don't want to put another number on my forehead.
Yeah, this guy's, yo. Oh my God, man. Oh man, this is why I love YouTube, because you can, like, I can literally sit here, do a reaction video. I mean, I'm probably not gonna fall asleep anytime soon. So, I mean, Lord, this is like, oh my God, man. This is like, I wish they would show her fucking face as he's doing this, man.
Forehead, you have to be a good man. They wouldn't stop fucking these idiots and stop being idiots. And all the idiocy would disappear. All the degeneracy would disappear. Families would return. Virgins meeting their first man, staying with him her whole life and being proud of it. Couldn't we go back to such a beautiful age? All we have to do is start putting numbers on girls' foreheads. We could fix everything.
That attitude is disgusting. It's not about women's body count. That would not, like, minimize any problems. Men like you are the problem, Andrew.
Oh, God.
Women...
There she goes. Now she's a champion. She's a superwoman.
This really disgusting outlook on women, policing women's bodies. Listen, if I want to sleep with this many people, I can and I will. Yeah, but what you're not getting is...
Yo, why? Why do they always cape for the heathens? Like, why do they always cape for the heathens? They always cape for the degeneracy. I don't understand. Like, why? You don't even want to. I mean, I don't know. At this point, I think she wants to, because she. I don't know. I mean, I thought she was somebody that wasn't like that, but I don't know. Like, all this caping for it's starting to seem as though she's had a life before she came on here. But Lord, man, like, what the fuck? Like, look, why are you advocating for this shit? Like, the guy that you want, like, this has 7 million views, like 7.5 million views. Like, the guy that you're not even like, let's just scrap this day, because it's probably not going to work out. But like, the guy you want is gonna watch this, and you having this attitude, like, the kind of guy you want is not gonna sign up. Like, you are going to get put in the recreational use only bucket, and it's going to be your own fault, because you don't know. You really are just like, it's like you're giving up on game. Like, why are you talking like this? Like, he's disgusting. You're disgusting. Like, why are you even? What are you trying to save? Like, this isn't some honorable thing. And it's not like even like he glorifies the fact that men, are going to exercise their options. He's not saying it as though, or some guy, he's not championing it by saying that guys should just be lying and all of this. But this woman over here is literally advocating for women to just be out here and just, just literally obliterating the first commodity that they have, which is why women like herself are wearing white dresses and fucking acting like they're saints, but yet they're running around here asking dudes if I had a 50-pound. Like, well, why does that even matter? I thought you were a high value woman.
There's this whole hyper toxic independent movement of women, right? We are doing things because it's kind of, now it's our choice, but it's kind of like by force, in the sense of it's like we're so liberated because we're literally exhausted with men on their power trip, on their this. So it's like, oh, if you can do it, we can do it. But this is what I said, but you men that think the way you think have created that.
I understand your point. However, you're wrong. She thinks I'm arrogant. I'm being arrogant on purpose. I must admit, annoying her is kind of fun. I think that...
and it's why this video got 7.5 million views, because this shit is priceless, man. This is like literally a how-to session of of how to deal with female fucking...
You know what? I'm being so nice. I'm being so nice to you. I say I think instead of I know.
This is him being nice.
You need to ground yourself again. They'll be ready for a new opportunity that's coming your way.
The answer is I know. I know. Females who sleep with lots of men, first things first, I don't think that women naturally, intrinsically want to do that. I think that's societal programming. Yeah. I think that women...
No, but I agree. This is what I'm saying to you. Like, there's things that you're saying, like, I don't disagree with certain things you're saying, but...
So then, but he said nothingness.
It's like by force. Like, it's to prove a point. It's like this power struggle. Like, I personally don't want to sit and sleep with loads of men. I don't care. Like,
so then what are we doing here? What are we doing? Like, what the fucking... Like, what the fuck? What the fuck is this? What have we been doing, like, for the last however many minutes? What the fuck is all this? Oh, he's chatting nothing this. He's chatting this. Like what the fucking god? This guy's disgusting. But yet you agree with a lot of the things he's saying. So then where is the, like, I know where the disconnect is, but like for me, like outside of my logical, if I wanted to be emotional, right? This is where I start to like, I just am like, whoa. Because she's not, bless her heart, but she's not the only person who thinks like this, right? Like, oh my God, this shit is dangerous, bro.
We're getting somewhere. You see, God, Jesus, I'm getting her. Please, little by little, got 2 hours left. Give me some time. I'll fix it.
No, but if I want to, then I'm going to.
Sorry.
But that's why you need to understand.
Little by little.
No, but genuinely, but that's what you need to
understand. No, you will not. God
will
frown upon you. You can't do that.
And you.
What do you mean, and me? It doesn't say in the Bible I can't do that. Read the book. I can do whatever I want. I'm a man. Women can't do those things. It's disgusting. I can't believe you're poisoning the youth on YouTube.
Why is he shouting?
The idea that a woman can sleep with as many people as she wants just because she wants to is wrong. It's absolutely wrong. Every man knows it and every woman knows it. Women should not do that. And the whole idea and the whole concept that females can adopt the promiscuity of males, because males have always been promiscuous. Right?
But there's actually a lot of men that are like good, loyal men, just so you know.
Do you think so?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I know very good men.
Would you deem them high value men?
Oh, absolutely. Successful, Everything
And
that
yet
I
you're
listed
single.
earlier, 100%.
And they don't cheat, right?
Yeah, it's possible. Honey, seriously, this guy is so toxic, and the only kind of people that listen to his his advice are broke men or heartbroken men that are insecure.
I think that if a man has
There it goes. There it goes. I want you guys to see what you just did. I want you guys to see what you just did.
Very good men.
Would you?
This is a popular
men?
tactic.
Oh, absolutely. Successful.
Third wave
Everything that I
feminists
listed
like
earlier,
these.
100%.
And they don't cheat, right?
Yeah, it's possible. Honey, seriously, this guy is so toxic, and the only kind of people that listen to his advice are broke men or heartbroken men that are insecure.
You just literally advocated for women to do something that you don't even agree with, but you're advocating for them to destroy it. Now then you call it's done by force. So you're advocating for females to be degenerates, but yet him giving you essentially cold hard truths about how the way the world works, and he is toxic. He is what was the shaming language you used? Oh, sorry, the men that listen to his advice or some of the things that he say are either broken or brokenhearted.
It doesn't matter what you think.
Like this is the problem. Like this is the fucking problem. Like you can't have a conversation with people when one person, again, as I said earlier on the top, when you have one person's dealing with the way that the world is, and the other person keeps on talking about, well, should be and would be and could be, all these other things. Like you can't have a base conversation, right? And then you can't just be. And I know she's sitting there just like, yeah, yeah, whatever. No. And then she goes into the back thing, and then knowing full well that people are going to see it, and then she's casting aspersions on him and the people that are actually probably getting great fucking life content from this guy, or getting great advice on how to live their lives in a way that's actually fulfilling, as opposed to you, who is literally championing women being out there and having shouldn't be having the free for all business to just be fucking mad in the streets, being just notable streetwalkers. That's what you're advocating for. But he's toxic. Oh my God.
I think that man has options over a long enough time frame. He's going to eventually probably explore one of them options. Now, I'm not saying he's going to love another woman. I'm saying that when a man's in love, he only loves one girl. I agree with that. I believe in love. I believe a man cares about a chick. I believe a man should take care of a woman. I believe he should come home to the same place every day. I believe all those things. However, I think if a man truly has options, that both the man and the woman understand that at some point he's going to explore those options.
No, listen, if I'm with you, do you think I'm going to allow you to explore other options? It's either you're with me or you're not. Go be single then.
Cool.
Allow. The type of men that you deal with, honey, child, that you don't allow anything. Like this is this hubris that women like this have. Pretty privilege, don't get me wrong, it can get you very far in life, but when you're dealing with a certain caliber of man, like, I don't care if he's the most devout man in the world. If anything, those men are just you're not going to allow him. Just go his way or the highway. There is no allow. Like, words of power, and you can hear in the things that this girl says. While this date may not be real, but I'm pretty sure she believes what she's saying. Like, this is demonstrative. This is toxic femininity. You know what I mean? At its finest.
But realistically, what self-respecting woman is going to sit there and tolerate you?
I don't cheat. I don't cheat.
Okay,
I'm a good man. I don't cheat.
What woman is going to if you have all these other options?
No.
Yeah, I hate him, yo.
I'll tell you what's more powerful, what's more alpha, and what's more attractive, and what's more high value.
When women are now the gatekeepers to what a real man is. That is, I love it. I love watching when women, and this is why this is why I'm not a fan of doing too much content like this. You know what I mean? Because at some point, yes, I can see how females at a point where like, oh my God, they have that Kevin Samuels disdain, right? Where it's like, it seems like all you do is just, you're bashing, like, but at some point women even on the other side, like I've watched this, women have literally watched women like this and who talk like this, and even they know at some intrinsic level that this is idiocy. This is idiocy at its, you know, at its core. Like there's nothing about what she's saying that has any merit. Like, and yet, you know, women like this have platforms to speak and spew. And I mean, obviously it's for a reason, right? Because of the crazy hellacious world that the Western society has dived itself into, where now, you know, women like this, who normally would come across as good, God-fearing women, are now, you know, literally promoting for 7.5 million people to watch that you should be out here, you know what I mean, doing what you want when you want. When she doesn't even exercise that type of the discernment, as she says. Like it's hard not to do content like this, where you have to literally point out the degeneracy and point out the hypocrisy that exists in a lot of these conversations. It's not fun for me. It's not fun for me to do content. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, this exchange is fun to a certain extent because, I mean, hey, look how worked up she's getting, right? But at the same time, it's like, yo, like, I would love to be able to watch a beautiful date that happens where a woman understands her femininity, a man talks, right? I'm not saying that she just shuts up and she just acts as though she is mute. What I am saying is that when a guy provides you, it's amazing to me when you watch a conversation between a feminine woman, a truly feminine woman, not a woman who puts on a front just so that way she could bag the man that she wants. But when you actually watch a feminine woman talking with a masculine man, it's like, it's amazing to see the synergy that exists in that conversation, right? When a guy talks and he's not talking out of his ass, he's giving you sound talking points. He's giving you things that have been said over and over from the tales of time. You know what I mean? Instead of you sitting there and going, oh, let me just lean back on 40 years of unproven data. No, you know what? Okay, he has a point. I may not like it. It may make me uncomfortable because it is okay from my female lens, but this is where the male perspective is coming from. Like it's so I can at least understand that. And actually, you know what? I appreciate him for being honest and forthright with his perspective, because a lot of men don't have the balls to do it. And this is again why men lie, because women like this, you literally are, your first inclination is to shame this man off the internet. That is literally your goal, is to just be like, oh, this guy, everything he says it's just toxic masculinity written all over it. It's just for broken-hearted men. Broken men watch this kind of content. Like, it's just but that you're sleeping with this type of man. I would be very curious to see the types of men that she's been with in her time. And I guarantee you that the archetype may be a different color, a different accent, but they're going to be the same. This guy is going to be the same. I mean, for God's sakes, when he said he came from Luton, a very prominent area supposedly within in the UK. Oh, come on. Like, again, disingenuous. That should be the title for this video.
Woman, yeah, love her, not cheat on her, not disregard her, not see himself above her, not see him.
Where do you say that men are above women?
Like that. See her as an equal, treat her with respect, and put on that. That's more powerful. A partnership.
Are men
two people, not I'm a man. I have options. I'm going to explore them. Listen, if you're a cheater, you're a cheater. If you're a loyal person, you're a loyal person.
Can't be a cheater if you keep it open.
First things first, men and women are not equal. We'll talk about that in a second. Secondly,
look at her face.
If a woman sees it,
no. Let's go back to that. Look at that quickly. Look at that quickly.
You're a cheater. You're a cheater. If you're a loyal person, you're a loyal person.
Guys, watch out for this.
First things first, men and women are not equal. We'll talk about that in a second. Secondly, is that if a woman sees Chris Brown in the club, do you think she's like, wow, he'll be loyal? Fuck no, she doesn't care. Like, at high enough status as a man, women don't even care about loyalty. Women don't even care about loyalty at high enough status. I'm not, and I don't cheat. Okay, listen, I'm a man of God. I go to church. I don't cheat. I'm talking about in general.
Okay, but what I'm trying to explain to you, though, because maybe your perception of what a high-value woman is warped. Because I'm a high-value woman. I make my own money. I possess all the qualities that I listed earlier. Right. I believe I'm not going to be with a man that's going to cheat. I'm not going to look at a man like Chris Brown and be like, oh, my God, like, he's loyal. You see it as face value. You know he's a cheat.
This is why the manosphere exists, right? This exchange right? I mean, obviously, there's a numerous amount of exchanges that's occurred in this conversation, but this exchange right here is why the manosphere exists. This is why men are coming on the internet talking about their the truth that exists, right? They're talking about the sort of the demonstrative things that they've seen in the marketplace, right? And they're having these tough, uncomfortable conversations is because women like this run around and are being disingenuous. The fact that she's going to sit there and act like if Chris Brown did not walk into that very room right now as they were talking, and that she would not be, oh my God, it's Chris Brown, huh? Oh my God. And she would not be foaming at the bits to lock him down, right? If he was giving her even the slightest bit of attention, is just like she would be in the back of the fucking hotel room, just be. All that. Speaking straight up Japanese hentai. Like, it's crazy to me, yeah.
And maybe he'd just be a one-night guy. Just like you men do it to
would
women.
You sleep with him for one night?
I don't think I would.
I hope not, because that would not make you a high value woman.
No, this is what I'm saying, because it's like, when you hold yourself in high regard, you don't need to do those things. So the kind of caliber of women that go for men like that and these opportunities don't have that much self-worth, because it's what you're going to go with a man that's only deep, like only values you for one night.
Oh, now you're shaming women. Oh, shit. Oh, somebody just got a little condescending. Oh, I guess we could play the game of shaming language, right? Wow, you don't sound like much of a feminist now, do you? I thought women could do what they want, right? Sleep with who they want, wherever they want. Huh? Nah. But now if she does do what she wants, stays with a man of that caliber, as opposed to fucking the Walmart guy who makes $20,000 a year, she doesn't have a sense of self-worth. I mean, I would argue that the girl that understands a man of value and pounces on it and tries to lock it down as soon as possible, as opposed to the woman that's getting her back blown out by dudes who barely even have a job.
So it says a lot about the quality of a woman.
All right, so we agree on something.
But I'm saying, so when you generalize about women, don't do that, because there are many.
This woman has a very big need to tell men what to do. Like, what are you, like 5'4", like 5'5"? Like, you do not command a room. Like, and this is where women get that like this like grandiose idea that they're intimidating. Like, I mean, he's better than me. I'll just be like, stop telling me what not to do. Like, I'm a grown ass man. Like, just cut it out. Just cut it out. Like, I'll just pat you on the head. It's okay. Pipe down. It's enough. You're doing a lot.
I value women
who would refuse him,
that will not tolerate that
completely. I'm not saying that. My point is, you completely misunderstand me. I'm saying at a certain point, females aren't even interested in loyalty. Do you think all the girls with Dan Bilzerian think he's loyal? I'm not saying every girl will go with him. I'm saying there are certain girls at a certain level of male achievement who are not interested in loyalty.
But is that attractive? Like, for me personally, that's not attractive to sit there.
We're not talking about you personally.
It's cool to have loads of women around him. Be like, oh my God, they're bitches. This is that. I have all this money. That doesn't impress me. That doesn't impress a lot of women.
Get your feet.
It's about raising a family. It's about unity and stuff. I agree. But everything that you were saying, it's not that.
I'm talking about all these celebrities XYZ at high enough value. When they have options, they will explore them. That's what I'm saying. And I'm also saying that if a man did decide to explore his options, it would not be as disgusting as if a female decided to explore options.
Okay, wouldn't it just be disgusting then?
No. It's different if a woman does it. It's different if a woman does it. Everyone watching this knows it's different if a woman cheats. It's different.
Honestly, men with these sexist views, like, it's so outdated. What kind of relationship?
I'm about to pull the answer. The world is sexist. The world is sexist. Oh, you got me out of my frame. Oh man, I don't even know if that was a lot that can constitute as being out of my frame, but like, let me hold it down. The world is sexist. The fact that you get this show, because I don't see any other. I mean, they just started doing it for Castillo, and that's only because of the fact that he came on here and went crazy and had provided some sense of value. But I'm pretty sure you have 2 seasons worth of this, where nobody, I mean, at least Castillo, Castillo has other shows he's been. I've never seen you outside of this, and yet you have a whole show where men are coming to suit you simply for the fact that you are a pretty, attractive woman. That is sexist. But again, when things do not fall in your favor, it is a problem. And I'm all for complaining about, I don't even say complain. I'm all about, hey, you know what I mean? If it's something doesn't seem right, look, if we wanted to get into a semantics battle or an emotional battle about what's fair and what's not fair, sure, we could go to the Calcum zones about what's not fair. There's things that women can get that isn't fair, and there's things that men can get that aren't fair. But if we're going to sit in this place, right, which is having that conversation just as a never-ending toil of emotions that nothing ever gets solved, because guess what? The world works from a sense of objectivity. It's just it is. It is. That is what the machine that has gotten humans from the caves to the point where I'm able to do a podcast or do an episode utilizing 2 monitors with a webcam in the comfort of my own home with AC and everything of that nature. I'm able to do all these different things because of the machine that has been built from the beginning of time, beginning of human creation. So for us to be sitting here, right, and continually getting upset when people simply just bring out undeniable, inevitable truths that exist between men and women, it's just it's frustrating to me, because it's like, yo, like what, like where can we even have a conversation if we can't even agree that this is the truth, whether we like it or not, right? If we want to have that conversation, we can have it. But if I'm utilizing it as a point to make about something else, you can't argue with something that innately is true, but yet people still do it anyway. And that is the most disingenuous, frustrating aspect. I'm going to say disingenuous a lot in this episode, because it's just that's just what all this reeks of.
Your mother.
A good one.
A good one.
Yeah, I take care of her. And also that paradigm, the whole idea that if you find a man who's good with his mom, then he's good with girls, that's bullshit.
No, it was just more because I find that your thoughts
You're going to say what you
women
say.
are quite disrespectful.
You think so? Why?
This arrogance that you've got.
Don't tell me what. I'd actually like to know what I've said that so far.
No, I'm just saying it's not. You don't have to say anything.
There
it's
we
like
go.
energy speaks volumes, because you're not actually listening to what I'm saying.
I'm listening to everything you're saying. I don't think you're listening to what I'm saying. I'm saying women shouldn't sleep with lots of men, and they should fall in love with one man and stay with that man. And if that man takes care of them and ends up across 20 years sleeping with one chick once, you shouldn't leave him. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And the point I'm making is completely valid. And if a woman sleeps with one man once, that's unacceptable. If a man does it, it's acceptable. That's the point I'm making.
Do you just want women to be submissive to you?
I think in a healthy relationship, there's always a leader, whether it's the man or the woman. And I think that in the happiest relationships, the man's in charge. I don't think women should be submissive to an idiot. Yeah. And I don't think women should be submissive to any man they meet. And I don't think women should be submissive when they're not rewarded. Right? If a captain is in charge of a ship, he's responsible for the ship, right? Mm-hmm. If he's responsible for the ship, he has authority over the ship.
Okay, but it's I'm a woman, I'm not a ship.
A relationship.
Oh,
okay. It's a relationship.
Oh my days. Oh my days. Get your head out of your I'm a woman, not a ship.
I know exactly what this guy's doing. It's just like talking in riddles. Like none of it actually makes sense if you actually listen to what he's saying.
So I think if a man has responsibility and he takes care of the woman and improves her life and makes sure that every single facet of her life, whether spiritual, physical, financial, etc., is taken care of, then he should have some degree of authority. I don't see why a man would take care of a woman and have no authority over her while accepting all of the responsibility that's getting played. You're an independent woman. Maybe you make your own money. You want to do all those own things. That's fine. Fantastic. But if I had a woman, I would say, look, I like that you do your own things. I like that you do your jobs, but let's keep it part-time. I want you to come with me. We got to go here. We got to go there. I'm taking you around the world. You're with me. I'm taking care of you, etc. And I'd expect her to listen to me in return. Why wouldn't she? I'm not going to say do anything wrong or bad. But if I were to say, I don't like that dude, stop talking to him. I'm her man, not that dude. It shouldn't even be a competition. It should be, all right, cool, block. No. Why wouldn't it be?
But then if I said I didn't like that woman.
She takes a picture, and in that picture is this ET.
Everything comes back to our men.
I'm saying it's just a double standard, and it's just like a power struggle, like balance.
Life,
you know, and this is the thing, like I feel a lot of women could give you that life and be like, do you know what? He can have a girlfriend, there's so many people that are into that.
I'm not even saying, no, I'm not a cheater.
But I'm saying there's people that are into that.
Correct. But I'm not a cheater. I don't want anyone to think this is about me. I'm talking about in general.
But do you think women want to sit here and look stupid? Like, I might think, do you know what? Actually, I'm listening to everything you're saying, I'm agreeing and I'm liking it. But then, if you've got me out here looking stupid because you might be in clubs with all these women around you, making me look like an idiot, do you think I'm going to tolerate that? No. When you have men like you have explained, it's as if you're trying to prove a point to the world that you're this great man that has all these options and you're so successful.
I agree with you.
It doesn't work like that.
I agree with you. If there was a man, which is not me because I'm a one-woman man, but if there was a man who decided to have multiple girlfriends, his approach certainly wouldn't be sitting down and saying it the way I'm saying it. The point I'm trying to make is I think that the idea of a man having a girlfriend who he loves and maybe sometimes stepping out is not nearly as offensive as the idea of a woman having a man she loves and sometimes stepping out.
I don't get.
You know, I watched American Pie the other week, and I thought that would have been the best time to be alive. You know, like 2003. Like, you can still call the people you care about if it's a real emergency, but no one's glued to their phone.
Yeah.
No one's scrolling social media. No one's trying to take an Instagram picture. Everyone's just at the crappy party, enjoying the crappy party. Like, if you go to Dubai and you look around the bar, half the people aren't having fun. They're just purely trying to get Insta stories to look like they're having fun. So it's pure like, ha, 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 ha. Okay, so I think that a lot of people now are doing things not because they enjoy them, because other people will think they're having fun, and it's more about creating envy as opposed to actually enjoying yourself. If you go on a really fun night out, you don't take your phone out. So when I see someone who went on a night out and took 20 stories dancing and laughing and having a great time, I know they're bored.
Yeah, they're not in the moment.
Do you know what I mean? Because if you really have a great night out, you don't take any stories and you forget to check your phone. Social media.
Oh shit. And this is the guy she's gonna like. She's gonna like when he talks like this. Oh boy. Go ahead, Andrew. Start dropping that ism.
It has completely and utterly changed the world. It's changed the way that we function. It's changed the way that we go out. It's changed even the places we go. Social media now runs the world. We live in an attention society, and people will do anything for attention because attention is a currency, and you can turn attention into money. Jake Paul is not rich because he's a boxer. He's rich because he used the attention he gets and monetized it via boxing. So in the attention economy we now live in, you have to understand that your attention is valuable, especially as a man. And women are out here today trying to extract your attention from you without returning anything. That's what the male-female friendship is. In the old days, man would give attention in return for sex. But nowadays, men just give attention and don't get any sex back. And that's what you have to be very, very careful of. Your attention is extremely valuable. So for all the men out there, if you're following a woman and you have zero chance of fucking her and she ain't replying to your DMs, stop following her. Like, when's the last time?
Oof. Shit. Like, I want to stop this, but like, god damn, this is really a good episode. I can see why there's 7.5 million views. Holy shit. Almost got caught in the ism right there. You see what I'm saying? But like, and this is the powerful thing about this. I mean, he's not in the manosphere, but like, this is the powerful thing about like the fact that men like him in this space, right? Men like me and my co-host, you know, we are, when we like, everybody has their own way of saying things, again, that have been said for millennia, right? And I think it's the beautiful thing about YouTube, right, is now men have an opportunity to sort of be the I mean, we're not going to equate influence, right? Because obviously, like, men like Aristotle and men like Socrates and things of that nature, like, obviously these men have had a profound indent on human society for a huge duration of time. But what I am saying is that men who are charismatic and are able to command a room, right, and are able to portray a message in a way that, again, that is amicable and that will get people sucked in, bro. Like, just in a matter of that 2 minutes or whatever I just let fly, dude, I'm sitting there like, damn, this ninja spitting. Again, I've heard I've heard everything he said before. I've used that. I say that shit on my channel all the time. It's nothing new. but it's beautiful to watch when a guy is able to, is able to say things, right, that are just, it's just everybody has their own way of conveying. You know what I mean? And that's the difference between the guys that strike gold on YouTube, right, and the guys that are like myself who are, still trying to find their voice within this space, right? So that way we can, stand out, right? So it's kind of cool to watch guys like this guy, like Myron, like Rolo, like Kevin Samuels, right? Like Saint the Sinner, I'm seeing Marquette Devon, Burton, you know what I mean? Like guys like this, like it's cool to watch.
Time you truly lived in the moment.
I personally live in the moment a lot.
No, but that's a good thing, right? That's a beautiful thing, and that's actually an asset. Like my brother is very similar to that. But the problem is,
I bet you did in a lot of your days doing a lot of this. Yeah, a lot of moments.
If you live very, very much in the moment and you're not on your phone, I feel like, and I can only talk from the masculine perspective, you're not competitive. Because as a man, you need to be doing things, talking to people, making money, moving things. So you have to be on your phone all the time.
Really like how you just delivered what you said, but I just find it crazy how
I like how you delivered what you said.
Live in the moment and that, but then like you've sold courses trying to explain to people how to be like that. It's just aspire for this.
I understand. I understand what you mean, but unfortunately, and it's an unfortunate reality of the world, is that it's player versus player. Like if you go to a video game, if you play Call of Duty, right? There's 20 people in there, and we're all trying to kill each other. And the world is very, very similar financially. I'm not saying we should be out here killing each other, but I'm trying to explain that there's a certain amount of resource and everyone's trying to get it. And I understand your perspective, but your perspective is feminine, as it should be because you're a woman, right? But the masculine imperative and the masculine perspective is you have to understand that life is war. It's a war for the female you want. It's a competition. Every man's trying to get her. It's a war for the car you want. It's a war for the money you want. It's a war for the status. It's a war. Masculine life is war. If you're a man who doesn't view life as war, you're going to lose. So as a man, you have to wake up and think, okay, everything I want, other men want. I have to outcompete every other man to get it. So how am I going to do that? Am I going to do that by living in the moment, ignoring my phone, having a fun picnic?
Do you believe in men's mental health? You are kind of like the problem in society in a sense of fast car, women, lifestyle. No, but it is. This is the problem.
It's not my problem.
I'm not saying it's your problem directly, but I'm saying this is the problem. Yes, all men probably want to aspire for that. But do you see the pressure there is on men?
Completely. It is much harder to be a man than be a woman.
Okay, so what's your thoughts on men's mental health?
I agree. It's much harder to be a man than be a woman, which is basically what you just said. Society's expectations of men is much higher than the societal expectations of females. I agree. Much more is expected of us. I agree. It's a harder game. Just like every other video game on Earth. It's a harder game, but if you complete it, you get a higher score. I think that being a top-tier male is the best human experience that any human can have. I think that being a female would not compare in any way to being a top-level man.
No, reason why.
Here she go. There she go. The female lens is ticking. It was waiting. It was waiting in the midst.
This is right. Like women, we can literally carry lives inside of us.
And I'm actually glad you chose that experience because that's the most important thing a female can do. And I agree with you, and I understand it's a beautiful thing because there's no society and there's no world without life. I agree with you. However, I think that as a man, you can build an empire. There's conquest as a man. And I think as a female, it's not quite the same. And I'm not saying this in any kind of way that disrespects females. I don't want people to look at this and think I'm disrespecting females. I'm not. I'm saying we have different roles. We do different things. And women give life. Women have a very, very important role, probably the most important role in society. Women are beautiful creatures that do something separate that men cannot do. I think a top-tier male is more unique than a beautiful woman.
And you know what's crazy to me is that, like, because of the environment that we're in, people aren't even going to make it to this point, right, of the conversation where he gives that, right? Like, even on our channel, like on, when we do our, we go back and forth and we talk about, the things like that. We give our kudos to women. But, like, the funny thing is that, like, you'll, like, the haters, right? They never get to the point of the kudos. All they see is the what's it called? The critiques, right? The critiques or the call outs or the things of that nature, the things that we see, the truths that we are able to unmask along the way of our everyday lives. They see that and they go, oh my God, as opposed to seeing when we give our when we see the truth, right, in a way that actually, it does gear towards benefiting, it does highlight a beautiful thing for women. You never see them talk about that, right? They'll take the 5 minutes we go of where we go in on some ratchet heathen, right? As opposed to when we give our kudos to how we try to hold men more accountable than women. But you'll never hear them talk about that. Like, this guy is literally breaking down the fact that he literally gives the mulligan that men have a harder experience than women. That, I mean, do you not sense this? That's not exactly a compliment. That's not a fun thing. It's not fun to say that, oh, my life is harder than yours. Like, that's not something anybody really wants to say. Like, nobody goes through life and says, like, yeah, I'm happier that I had life harder than you. Like, I'm glad that I went through a harder experience and went through more trials and tribulations than you did. Like, I think if somebody could get from A to Z, for the majority of people, obviously there's some people that like to go through the mud and to get where they want to be. But I think if people had a choice between getting to that Z, right, the path of least resistance, as opposed to suffering and going through loss and all these other things, like, I think they would take a hard pass on it. So
I think that you get to build an empire. I think that you get to be respected and feared in a way that women never are. I understand that that's a very, very unique human experience, right? Most men never ever get there. The reality of life for most men is absolutely depressing. I completely understand when you talk about mental health.
So have you suffered from mental health?
Fuck no.
No.
Absolutely not. Because I understood that as a man, you must build yourself. As a female, you can be born.
But did you not, like, we need to stop going into philosophies and just stuff, because
oh my God. He just answered you. He believes in building himself up. But you're not going to listen to that. You're going to emotionally drone out anything that he says of value, right? Because it doesn't fit within your fucking lens. Like, God bless us, man, for having this conversation.
I want to understand you.
Okay.
Right. So have you not experienced mental health? No.
Zero.
Okay. So how do you cope with stress and situations? Express your emotions when you're frustrated and when you're stressed.
Good question. And if I'm stressed or I'm frustrated, then I understand it's my time to perform. And I agree that society puts huge pressure on men, and it's time for men to perform. As a man, you either perform or you don't. There's no safety net like there is for females. Females can wake up and say, I don't feel like it.
Yeah, but there is for men.
No, there isn't.
But there is.
The men who
Yes,
say,
there
I
is.
can't feel like it, cannot compete with the men who do not say that. And it is player versus player. The man who goes to the gym every single day, regardless of how he feels, will always beat the man who goes to the gym when he feels like going to the gym. And it's player versus player. And let me tell you something. As much as you want to sit here and disagree with me, it's women who decide who the winner is. You will choose the man who's in fantastic shape. You'll choose the man with all his money right.
I like a dad bod, personally.
Okay, well, that maybe you're an exception because you're an angel. But in general, we're talking in generalizations, because exceptions do not disprove the rule. Females will choose the man who's in fantastic shape. Females will choose the man who's got his money right. Females will choose the man who can fix any problem. Females will choose the man when they can go to him and say, everything's can you fix this? And he says yes without panicking. That's who women want. Women decide who the winner is. Women don't want the man when you come to him with your problems and he goes, oh, I'm too stressed today. Tell me tomorrow. No. Women don't want that.
But women also don't want a dickhead.
But having your life in order doesn't make you a dickhead.
You can have all those things.
Right.
But then there's that fine line where your ego gets a bit too much, for example.
Oh. And this is why she's going to be single, right? This is why she's going to be single, because there's always going to be some nuance in that man that literally ticks off most of the fucking checks on her boxes. There's always going to be some nuance that's where she says, and even then, even when she does sign off on the guy, she's going to get to the point where she is so far out of the marketplace that he's going to literally not see her as a viable option for long-term commitment. Like, this is the danger. This is the mindset, right, that is plaguing a lot of women in 2022 and going forward. Like, this does not get you kept. You wearing the white and looking all looking all good and all that, it will get you in the door. But the things that you say, like, this is why when women say, oh, is it just about sex, is it just about looks? No, it's not. It's definitely, it's not always about looks, right? Looks, again, right, it's like a job interview, right? When you present yourself well, right, you have a great resume, it looks good, come on down for an interview. You got a 1 o'clock reserved, right? So we can have a discussion. But what you say during the course of that interview is the difference between you getting the job that you want and having to go back to the drawing board. It's as simple as that. Like, and before you guys come, like, you have that same thing with her. Oh, I'm not a ship. I'm a woman, not a ship. Oh, I'm a woman, not a job. I'm not looking for a job. No.
You could be very successful. You can have good-looking women that are attracted to you. You can just have all those qualities. But then once you possess that, you then suddenly can go past that line, your ego, then you start to become an arsehole.
I agree with you, but I'm not talking about that. I think that's a separate conversation.
No, I'm just saying, no, I agree with everything. That's what I'm saying. Like, for me, I agree with everything you're saying, but what I'm trying to argue is,
you want to talk about
men
semantics.
get successful, they become even more narcissistic, and they just are not nice people to be around.
You're very, very smart.
Thank you.
You are. But you're doing what most females do, and you're conflating issues. So when you conflate, what you do is you mix two issues together to try and prove your point.
No, I've just been asking you personal questions,
Correct.
and every time you give me a philosophy
No,
around
it's not a
it.
philosophy.
No, but I'm saying in general, when I'm asking you, I'm trying to get to know you on a level. How does a
in order
woman
for you
like
to-
me get to know a gentleman like
If you're
you?
gonna get to know him, you need to understand his mindset. This is his mindset. He's not. If you're looking for some telltale long of how he was getting, touched as a child and all this other thing, like, come on, come off it. Like, this is the internet. Like, if you want to have those deeper it's the fucking first date. Like, understand his mindset. Like, this is the problem. You guys are looking for this deep, you're looking to get, like, women like this want to get deep into understanding where your quote unquote insecurities lie, knowing full well that they don't have the capability to be able to fix any of them. They just want to know. They just want to be able to be that girl that knows what, that was able to pry out a secure man's insecurities. For what? For badges? Like, understand his mindset. So that way, and if anything, like, this is a beautiful thing. You can get his mindset, and then as you guys date, if it is a guy who has a mindset that you can adhere to, or that's something that you think is something that is, that has, some sort of base to it, then you can hold him accountable. In your head, you can start to say, okay, well, this guy's congruent based upon his actions and the mindset that he was portraying over the conversation. That is how he lives his life. He just told you he's I mean, for all intents and purposes, he's told you he's flying in on a jet. Like, how did he get to that point? He had to have the right mindset. So he's giving you the mindset that he lives by. I think it would behoove you to listen to that mindset, because that's how he's able to sit in front of you today. Jesus Christ. Everything's got to be about semantics, emotional.
Here at this beautiful, nice, civil dinner we're having here with no animosity at all. You asked me about men's mental health. My answer was explaining that as a man, you don't have the luxury. Oops, I don't feel like it. You can do it.
You can, but I'm sorry, I keep cutting you, but I'm just like, 'cause this is the part that gets really frustrating for me. Like, men with this mindset that you have, like, I get it. Okay, great. You are alpha. You've achieved all these things.
It's not about alpha.
No, but I'm saying, like, you possess all these. It's great, but you are the problem. You're creating this pressure on men and society. Like,
no,
it's so
I'm not
competitive.
creating a pressure.
But men can actually, successful men can actually be like, oh, okay, I don't actually feel like it today. Like, they actually can take a break and rest at that moment.
I understand. My point is that it's player versus player. And if you're a man who's going to constantly give in to mental health problems or mental health trouble, you're not going to be able to compete with men who don't.
Okay, but can we validate men that...
Completely. If you have mental health...
So we can't go just validate men that have mental health issues.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Men who have mental health issues, I wish them the best in the world.
Okay, great.
But when they come to me and say, and I get this all the time, Andrew, I have this problem, I'm depressed and I can't go to the gym. I say, no, I disagree. You're depressed because you don't go to the gym. If you go to the gym, you might start to feel better, right? I'm saying you can't sit as a man and afford the luxury of saying, I have a mental health issue today, I'm sad today, I'm stressed today, I'm emotional today, I can't work, because you will lose against the men who don't do that. And the male world is more competitive than you could possibly imagine. And it's the women who pick the winners. So I find it very interesting that a woman sits here to me and says, no, men are allowed to sit around and do fuck all and feel sad. And those are the men they ignore when they DM.
No.
Those are the men they ignore them all.
No, actually, can I just chime in here?
So, you've been chiming in the whole time.
You've said, you've possessed, you've proved your point. Right, but as a high-value woman, if I respect and love my partner, I'm not putting that pressure. I would say, babe, do you know what? You can have a little rest. Like, there are women that actually enable men to process that emotion.
Agreed.
But yeah, so we'll still go back to tomorrow. Okay,
agreed.
Let's go back to work. But there are good women out there that don't put that pressure. I feel like your reality on women is warped because of a certain caliber of women. Yes, it is.
I agree. You're right. But you're missing a very vital point of that story. You're right. But as a high-value woman, before you say to that man, you can have a day off and you're allowed to be sad today, you will only even get with him Let me change that. You will only even acknowledge he exists if he's ignored how he feels 99% of the time before that. Because if he was sad most of the time before that, he never would have got to a place where he could attract a woman like you. The man who works in Starbucks, who's sad all the time, you won't reply to him. Neither will any other female. So for women to come along and pretend they give a f about the fact that most men are basically invisible. There is not a female on the planet who's invisible today. You can be a 4, overweight, fat, you'll still go to the club and get attention. 99% of the men go to the club and nobody even fucking talks to them. If they try and talk to a girl, they get blanked and ignored and told to f. Most men are absolutely and utterly invisible. This is the truth about masculinity, right? It's very easy for women to sit here and complain about the top 2% of men because I dealt with this guy, he's arrogant, blah, 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 blah. Most men don't even fucking exist. They send 10,000 DMs and never even get read, let alone replied to. So if you just sit here and say, I'll get a G, a big G, a boss, a millionaire, and let him have a day off, very nice of you. I'm sure you would. But if a guy who wanted to have days off all the time, he never would have got important enough in the first place to attract a woman like you. And that is the reality. As a man, it's player versus player. It's ultimately competitive. And as a man, you have to outcompete the other men who are prepared to get up and do it anyway. That's how it works. There's no...
You may not like his delivery. You may not like how he sets up the stage, right? And you may not like the vigor or the delivery and all this other shit. But I mean, again, this is not new shit, guys. This is not like, this isn't anything that, you know, we should be looking at and going, oh wow, you know, this is new. Like, this is, bruv, like, this is amazing. Like, this is the difference, right, between men who become and men who just drift off, right? And I'm not saying everybody has to have his exact mindset, right? They have to think exactly like him. But what I will say is that for me to sit around and act as though I'm going to get the results that I want, or get the date the type of women that I want to date, and yet be, you know, working in a career, or be, you know, not even looking towards creating options of generating wealth or resources for myself, right? And being able to put myself in certain circles as far as who do I have conversations with, who do I, you know, network with. If I'm going to sit here and act as though these things do not hold some semblance of importance or burden, that's naivete. It's absolute naivete. So for her, and I think this point that he brings up is such a monumental point that I think a lot of women don't really understand. It's that the guy that you're saying, like, you know, that you want to be vulnerable with you and just cry every once in a while, if that guy was sad or vulnerable majority of the time, he's not getting to where he is now for you to even be able to answer his fucking text back. You're not going to go out on a date with a guy that hasn't even become enough to where you even want to sit in a public setting with him. And I mean, some of you girls are, you know, you will take free dates or whatever. But I'm talking about a guy that you have genuine desire for. You're not even going to have that or build that if he hasn't even done the hard work of saying, you know what, fuck, I don't feel like going to work today, but I'm going to do it fucking anyway. And I'm going to bust my ass and I'm going to raise through the ranks and I'm going to be the guy that I know I can be, regardless of how I feel. Right? So fuck my mental health. Like that is the reality for a lot of men who are actually doing shit out here. And those are the ones that have options. So for women to be acting as though like, oh, you could just, you know, act like you could just do whatever, you know what I mean, be sad and just push the, you know, everything away just because you have depression issues. Well, sorry, that is the world of being a man. It comes with a burden of performance. That's it. That's all. That is it. Point blank period. There's no, oh, it should be like this and it shouldn't be like this. No, like, men have had the burden since the days of old. So when saber-tooth tigers were running around and mammoths were running around and they had to skew them and they had to bang together, you know what I mean? And the ones that could not fend off the dangers for their family were watching as their families were ripped apart into pieces by the elements. Like, that pressure has always been there. So to act as though that just because these modern conveniences exist now, that now we can just sort of skirt-tail, you know, these, you know, skirt-tailed now these, you know, the pressures of being a man in a society, like, it's just not, that's not feasible. It's not realistic. So I guess, you know, this idealistic world that a lot of women like this try to, you know, push and pedal where, oh, you know, a guy should be able to be here. No. Well, guess what? The guys have to do the work just to sit across the table from you. You think he just for him to be able to sit in this chair right now with the clothes that he's wearing, with the jet that he flew in, do you think he just got it just by waking up and existing? No, it took work. It took stress. It took a ton of anguish. It took a lot of work, I presume, and many hours of sleepless nights of sublime mental health, I presume, just to sit in this chair. So it's cute that you say, oh, you know, if he wants to sit one day out of 365 and wants to say, you know what, I just don't feel like, you know, going to work today, I'm going to chill. I mean, that's the beauty of being an entrepreneur, because yes, you can do that. But if a guy, I mean, and even another job, if you want to take a sick day, that's literally what those days are for. So you can take some time off from the craziness of the pressure. These things exist. So she's not saying anything that makes her any better than any woman out there, because men understand that there are venues for where you can cool off. You can then, you know, brush off, you know, not brush off, but sort of, you can understand the issues you're having, and then you can find ways with your tribe of men, and then you could speak about them and like, yo, bro, work's been kicking my ass lately. I don't know how to handle the situation. You can talk to your boys, right, who are in similar, because you should be surrounding yourself around guys that are like-minded in thought and also in practice, and then you'll be able to get, you know, valid ideas of that burden, because they understand what it takes to be in a man's shoes.
No such thing as saying, I'm sad, I need 2 weeks off. Not as a man if you want to be important. Maybe as a chick, you can always put more foundation on and be hot again. Great. Not as a man. If you want to be important as a man, you have shit to do. You have duties. This is how it exists. This is how it's always been.
Growing up, my family struggled to make...
All right, man. Enough of this commercial shit. All right, y'all. So I think I'm going to end off on that. I'm almost at 2 hours. I think this is probably one of the more interesting episodes. I think, you know, I definitely have seen. I don't know how real these dates are. I don't know how, you know, whether or not these actually even go into fruition. I don't think this date's going to probably end up anywhere necessarily in a place where they become romantic, because I don't think that's what he was intending. I think if he wanted to woo her off her shoes, he probably could have. But, you know, I think there's a lot of uncomfortable truths in this conversation, and I think the good thing that I want you guys to check out, for men and women alike, I want you guys to take a look at how she reacted to these truths, right? And I think that this is something where, you know, I would hope that women, if you are watching, men, you know, because we already know this, like, this is why men can't be honest with women, right? Because when we are honest about how we feel, because you always want us to talk about our feelings and what we think, and you want us to give us your perspective of what we think. You want us to tell us what is on your mind. Tell us what's on your mind. When we give you logic, you look at us and you basically, you call us toxic, you call us insecure, little dick energy. You give us all of these shaming tactics, and there goes any sense of a productive conversation. Right. I think the only reason why this conversation has been able to go long is because obviously this is an episode. So yeah, they're making, you know, because, you know, if this was a real live scenario, she would have probably left already after getting all the food and all the stuff. Because, you know, you gotta. I mean, I don't know. Maybe she holds herself in high regard, or she will just leave. But yeah, I say this to say that this is the problem with you know, the male and female dynamic. You know, it's difficult for men to speak their mind. Right. And especially men that aren't, you know, built in a way where they can deal with the endless emotion of you know, the modern day woman. It makes it tough. Right. So what do? We, in general, men are just going to say what needs to be said to get the results that they need. So yeah, while this day wasn't something that I think is to be taken serious, but I do think it is something, you know, because I think they were essentially going back and forth with ideals that they may have made a home in. I think we can very easily see whose ideals and whose, you know, quote unquote truth has more merit in the landscape of the world around us, right? And if you're on the side of logic, I think we all know who was the one that's going to come out on top, no matter how brandish it may sound, right? But anywho, alas, as I said, this is the end of the episode. I want you guys to please like, share, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you thought of this date. Obviously, we know it was a crazy date, but do you think that Andrew was completely off base in a lot of his views? And do you think Chian had, any merit in some of the talking points that she brought up? I'm going to put the link to, again, this episode below, so that way you guys can watch the rest of it and then be able to come to your own conclusions. And I'm sure it definitely will end with a bang, knowing Andrew Tate. So check us out. The Moss Media Network on YouTube. Check us out on Instagram at Moss Media 615. Moss_Moss_Media 6. I gotta get better at this. 615. And then check me out on my Instagram at QFusion. So that's Q, the letter Q, Fusion, FUSION. And then yeah, this is a great episode, guys. Until next time.
Are you sure about that? QFusion.